Rewind Sports 60. From the city of big shoulders, the jewel of the Midwest, comes a sports show that's one of a kind. From iconic players to iconic stadiums to iconic teams, this is my kind of town. Chicago! And the Rewind Sports 60 is my kind of show. From Air Jordan to Sweetness to Papa Bear Hallis, this city works hard, but plays even harder. Danny Carlino and Jerry Riles bring you the Rewind Sports 60. Live. The Rewind Sports 60 starts now.
Robert a drive, deep left field, and it is gone! Bring him home, 2-0 Sox. That was cannon fire. Stayed up, Jose swats it left center field, way back there at the wall. Bring them all home, 3-run home run. Jose Abreu, and the Sox have stormed out to a 5-0 lead. Working very quickly. The 1-0. That ball's hit well. Deep left field and gone again. Oh, a big plus sign for the Sox. Danny Mendick adds one more. It's 6-0. Oh, that ball's crushed. Way out of here. Way out of here. Top row thunder. You'll win a World Band radio as that ball is absolutely demolished. Eloy Jimenez lets her rip and bring him home. 2-2. Oh, one more for the road. Bring him home again. It's still bouncing around. Jose to right field. Well struck, very well struck, and out of here. Bring him home for the lead, top 6.
Bounce it, it's 0-2.
Oh, it hung. Jose in the air, left field, way back. Bring him home again. Look out, Maglio. A cement mixer to beat all cement mixers, and it's 5-2. 0-2. Jose in the air, left field. One more time, bring him home.
Well, we told you back in the 6th inning that Jose sometimes takes it into his own hands.
Yasmani in the air, center field. Happ is back. He's at the track, at the wall. Gone! A little extra from Yaz tonight. And 6-3, the Sox lead. Jose in the air. Way back! Oh, my goodness! Batman Jose is at it again, and Darvish can only laugh. This is outrageous. Jose in the air, way back. Oh my goodness. Batman Jose is at it again, and Darvish can only laugh. This is outrageous.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's outrageous!
Twice.
Unbelievable! Ladies and gentlemen! Is there a chiropractor in the house? Is there a chiropractor in the house? Because the closed pitching staff, they need some work this weekend after what the Chicago White Sox and Jose Abreu was able to do to them over on the north side at the friendly confines. Weren't so friendly this weekend, although it was a little bit friendlier today on this Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, those highlights courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago, Jason Benetti and Steve Stone on the call. A barrage of home runs on the north side from the bats of the new, modernized Chicago White Sox, the Hitmen, a Southside Hitmen. Boy, they were unleashing and they were unloading. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. We're broadcasting, streaming live from the world's famous WCPT 820 AM studios in the beautiful, beautiful city of Chicago in a great neighborhood of Jefferson Park. This is another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, and we are joined by the marvelous one, ladies and gentlemen. You love him. He wasn't at Wrigley. He wasn't in the stands. He wasn't on the rooftop. He did not have a net in the stands. He did not have a... I gotta ask you about this one. Ladies and gentlemen, he's in the studios of WCPT 820 AM. What's up, Marvelous? How are you?
You were trying to sound like Dr. Seuss there for a minute.
What does that mean?
Sam, I am. In any event, Abreu. Forget about Hitman. It was like Murderers Row with the New York Yankees in 1927.
Oh, my goodness.
It looked like batting practice or home run derby. Yeah. But, I will say one thing. I thought I'd come out of a slumber today, and it was Memorial Day. You had the Indianapolis 500. You had the advanced rounds of the NHL and the NBA, and the Cubs and the Sox. So I thought that I'd come out from a bad dream. At least I was hoping I had.
What was the bad dream?
The bad dream was the last 4 months.
Oh, jeez. I thought from a Cub fan's perspective, it was the last couple of days.
Yeah, well, they salvaged one. Somehow it looked like it was going to be the same old thing after Abreu got his 4th straight at-bat home run.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Jose Abreu was just, it was a fight at the bat rack.
Yeah, but I will say this. I'll give the NHL and the NBA credit. They haven't had COVID-19 cases, unlike baseball. Now I'm worried about football with the 9 false cases with the Bears.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that's going to go so well.
No, well, it's going to be interesting to see, and we haven't even, we're still trying to figure out what's going to happen on the collegiate ranks. The 25 parents representing the Big Ten student athletes were in town on Friday here at the Big Ten offices to petition and campaign and protest, the decision not to play fall sports and moving everything to the spring. There were representatives from the Ohio State Buckeyes, of course, the University of Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, but all in all, it's 25 parents that were out there picketing and saying, hey, or protesting or whatever the case may be, and saying, you know what, we don't like the decision that was made, but unfortunately, I think it's signed, sealed, and delivered,
right.
Marvelous.
It'll be interesting to see if they can do it in the spring even,
Exactly. But one thing I wanted to ask you, folks, this is the fastest hour in sports conversation. Want you to be a part of it. Our number, 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. I want to ask you, great job by the Marquee Network. I had the picture-in-picture on in the Hall of Fame room at home, and I had the Marquee Network on one screen, and of course I had NBC Sports Chicago on the other screen, and it was great to see the transition from both sides of town and the broadcast from both sides of town. But I got to ask you, I think it was Marquee Network that showed I think after Schwarber's home run,
rooftop.
They showed the rooftop, and they showed a young lady. Help me out here, Marvelous.
Correct.
Help me out with this one, Marvelous. Yeah. I'm losing my mind on this one. The lady's on the rooftop
with a net, right?
And with a net, like Harry Carey used to have at the old Comiskey Park.
Yeah,
why does she have a net?
To catch the home run, which would be 800 feet.
Kyle Schwarber's?
Make believe. 800-foot home run, right?
Now, I got to say, Jose Abreu jacked one out today. Was 449 feet?
Yeah.
And then who was it? Eloy, who hit one that was yesterday, 468 feet or something like that?
And those didn't even leave the park. So I can only imagine what. I think it was just symbolic. I don't think she was expecting to catch a ball.
Are you sure? Because she looked like she hit that net up really, really high, expecting for the ball to come her way. But here's the other one. And I love you, Cub fans. I certainly do. And I love my White Sox fans. I certainly do. But over at the friendly confines, the rooftop, we understand that the fans aren't allowed in the stands right now because we want to make sure everybody's protected, safe, and sound. But during the 7th inning stretch, they had a shot of the rooftop. And there were 2 young ladies up on the rooftop. Marvelous. Yeah. They had their phone. Like I got my phone here. Yeah. They were either taking a picture or videotaping the field.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Oh.
What?
Why not?
They're Marvelous.
Yes.
They're on the rooftop.
I know.
Across the street.
Well, it's for their memory book.
What are they shooting? What are they showing? What are they trying to get?
Sending it to their friends. I don't know.
Listen,
Instagram.
These cameras are fantastic. Yeah. The cameras on these smartphones are fantastic. They certainly are. But Marvelous. Yeah. When I try to zoom in on my phone to get a close-up shot, I got to be close up to get a close up.
I'll tell you.
What are you trying to get a close up
I
on?
don't know. The rooftop is probably like a seat at Dodger Stadium, to be honest with you, in the fifth deck. So, I mean, it's not that ridiculous.
It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. We're having fun, and we want you to have fun. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation, the most fun you're going to have all week. There's no question about it. You listen to this show, you can be a part of this show. It's the most fun you're going to have all week, and we certainly want you to be a part of it. Again, our number is 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. And, you know, there are a couple things on the item, but we definitely certainly want to talk about this series regarding the Cubs and the White Sox. Now, last week, Marvelous, when we last had our session, it was the White Sox that hit 4 consecutive home runs. But this was coming after the fact that they got swept in a doubleheader by the St. Louis Cardinals. And I wasn't a happy camper then.
No, but starting Sunday of last week, they haven't lost the game till today.
Unbelievable. They were Jackmaster Funk. But my tirade last year, my mini rep last week against Ricky Rennery, I said, hey, Ricky, the only thing, and I'm disappointed in him as well, because, again, Jose Abreu leads off the game with a home run. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. No one can believe it. Whether you're listening on radio, whether you're listening on television, no one can believe this guy cranked out another home run, and you, Darvish, is like, it's like, damn. But the only thing that this guy, Ricky Renneria, needs to do, I told you, he just gets his lineup card, just fills it out, 1 through 9, turn it in to the umpire and say, that's my lineup, and then kick back, put his hands behind his head, kick his legs up in the dugout and say, boys, go to work. If they have a slump like they did today, Marvelous, only thing he has to do is say, hey, guy, wait a minute. It's the 5th inning here. We're losing. Something's going on here. What's happening? You guys asleep? Wake them up and get them going.
In all fairness, don't all managers make up a lineup? I mean, why is he so incompetent?
Have you not been watching the games?
I do,
Have you been watching the White Sox?
Well, I mean,
have you been watching this baseball team on the South Side?
So it's Renteria's fault that they lose, right?
Of course it is.
Okay, not the player.
Not the players.
Okay.
Your job as a manager, in my opinion, is to motivate your team to get out there and perform the best they can consistently at a high level every single day. That's your job. When you don't see them performing at a high level consistently, it's called manager. You're managing their time. You're managing their performance. When you see that it's subpar, Marvelous, you'll approach them and say, listen.
Okay.
Luis Roberts, I know you went 0 for 4 today. You struck out. No, that's not what you're here for. This is what you're here for. Hit the damn ball, and then you go up there and hit the damn ball. That's what his job is.
Okay, so you want to replace him? It's too late for Joe Girardi, but let's go ahead. Maybe there's somebody better.
Well, there's nobody better, right? Well, I mean, there are a bunch of people who are better right now, but unfortunately, the White Sox, they put all this together and they put, they put them in place to get them from point A to point B, and we've seen that happen here in the greatest city in the world, Chicago. There's no question about it. This guy has seen a lot happen in this great town as well, and we're pleased to welcome him on our TR60 hotline, and we're pleased to call him a friend of the program, and he just got off the set over there at NBC Sports Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, you love him. He's phenomenal. He's fabulous, and he is half of the new morning team at ESPN Radio AM 1000 in the greatest city in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, on our TR60 hotline, the one, the only, he's David Kaplan. What's up, Cap Man? How are you?
My guy, JR, Jerry Riles. What's going on, kid? I'm literally just getting into my car. Just got done doing baseball night in Chicago, and honored to be on your show again.
Well, you know what, Cap? It's always a pleasure, and it's always an honor to get you for a couple of minutes, because you certainly are the hardest man working in Chicago, the hardest working man in Chicago, whether it's radio, whether it's television, whether it's doing appearances, or whether it's just spending family time. The Cap Man is the hardest working man in Chicago sports, brother. Hey, what a weekend as far as baseball is concerned regarding this great city we live in, the Crosstown Classic. Not what we were anticipating at the start of the year and the start of the baseball season, but in this condensed 60-game season that we're experiencing and watching these two teams finally come together, brother. What was your thoughts watching this series and the Chicago White Sox just hammer things out?
Well, look, this is a really talented White Sox team, and I don't think anyone's surprised that after these, years of rebuilding, that Rick Hahn, a really intelligent baseball man, has been able to accumulate a number of really impressive assets. But I also don't think anybody saw the White Sox hitting like 4 billion home runs in a 3-game series. Jose Abreu was amazing. I mean, amazing in capital letters. He just was torturing Cubs pitching. But the thing that was most disappointing to me about the weekend, not that my Cubs lost 2 of 3, because that can happen, it's the fact that their offense looks impotent. I mean, Kyle Schwarber bails him out with a 2-run home run after a Javi Baez double. But beyond that, the offense has not looked good for a while. Very spotty, very up and down. Same thing we saw in 2018, the last half, 2019 up and down. So at some point, do you look at this team and go, maybe 2016 was the outlier? Because for the last 2.5 seasons, we have not seen great offensive play from guys who look like great offensive players.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's interesting because I'm watching, I mentioned before you got on the air, I'm watching, in the Hall of Fame room. I got it on NBC Sports Chicago, of course, your home, but I'm also watching on the Marquee Network. So I'm getting both perspective from either side of town. And it's interesting because you talk about the lackluster non-performance of the Cubs offensively. My wife and I sitting there watching this thing, and she's a diehard Cub fan just like you are, Cap man. She asked the same thing. What the hell is wrong with Javi Baez? What's wrong with him, man? And this is the guy that you, over the past few years, you definitely were looking forward to seeing him jumpstart the offense if they got into some type of rut. He, along with Wilson Contreras, but what the heck is going on with Javi Baez? It seems like, between his 2 ears, man, that there's a little bit of fog going there, and that's something that's uncharacteristic when you talk about Javi.
Yeah, I think, Jerry, the biggest problem that Javi has had so far this year is his confidence is a little shaken because he struggled, and that has led to him expanding his strike zone. Expand your strike zone, all of a sudden you're trying to hit a 4-run home run with nobody on base. And so he chases breaking balls. He sees something coming in, and it dives literally 8-10 inches off the plate, and he has no chance of hitting it with a bow door, and he swings at it. So he's just out of sorts right now. He needs to continue to string good plate appearances together, get hard contact. The pitch that Dylan Cease made him when he gave up the double, that was just a mistake. Why you are throwing Javi something middle in where he can get the head of the bat on it with that incredible bat speed, and he drives it into the left field vines for a double, and then the pitch to Kyle Schwarber, that was just a really good piece of hitting, and a pitch again that was up, out over the plate, and allowed him to get his hands active, and he takes it out of the ballpark. So that was a tiring Dylan Cease. And sometimes you can watch and go, what do you mean tiring? He's still throwing 97.
Right.
It's not so much muscling up and getting velocity, it's command and location. And that was why the Cubs were able to come back and win that game.
Dave, this is Dan here in the studio. You're absolutely right. I mean, right now, of course, Chris Bryant's out, but they have Baez, Schwarber, Contreras, Bodie, and Horner are all hitting under 200, and that's no good. So obviously the offense is a problem, and they've even the bullpen. They tried Kimbrel today, and he couldn't finish the game, and they had to bring in Jeffers. So they have a lot of issues, but they're still in first place. So, and there's going to be so many teams in the playoffs, they'll probably still make the playoffs anyway.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, they're a first-place baseball team. They're 3 games in front in the division, and they're going to play a really lousy Tigers team. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to win, but, the Tigers just pounded Cleveland on Sunday. So there's major league players on that roster, and the Cubs have to find a way to get up on Monday and find a way to win a baseball game. That's what I always like to say. Lou Piniella taught me that a long time ago. He said, son, you're not going to have 11 runs every day. You're not going to throw a 2-hitter every day. Wake up, get moving, get some breakfast, get to the ballpark, and find a way to win a damn baseball game. So that's where the Cubs are at. Right now, everything looks like a beach ball to the White Sox. So both teams are in different places. Sox are battling. I think they're 2 games back in their division. The Cubs are 3 up in their division. but the Cubs don't have a Twins or Indians in their division that they've got to deal with. So they're in a better place to try and ride out some of these hiccups.
Yeah, I think the White Sox are one game behind in the Central going into this game against the Cubs this afternoon, and I think the Indians were losing. So we still got some baseball left, man. But we're getting close to the finish line, and albeit it's only 60 games in this shortened season due to the pandemic, Capper. But if everything goes accordingly, and we can get past this second wave as they've been talking about over the past few months. Wouldn't it be beautiful? Wouldn't it be beautiful to see a crosstown series between the Cubbies and the White Sox battling it out? I mean, it's only 60-game season, but it would be great to see our teams, both Chicago teams, battling for the title 2020. What do you think?
I think it'd be amazing. Look, we've had a rough year for the entire world because of the global pandemic. And then in our country, we've had a horrific first 7-8 months because of the murder of George Floyd. You add it all up, the protests and the riots and everything that's gone on. Wouldn't it be fitting that we got a vaccine toward the end of the year, and in October we watched the Cubs and White Sox play in the World Series, and the Bears had a really, really good season, and whoever the quarterback is played really well, and the Bears made a deep playoff run? It would be a great way to finish what has been a first 8 months of really tough stuff for our great city.
Yeah, that would be fantastic if we can get to that mark. And I know that there are a lot of folks around the Chicagoland area and around this country who are certainly, pushing for a vaccine and pushing to hopefully get back to some sort of normalcy. But it's great to get an opportunity to sit down, whether you're in your Hall of Fame room, such as I am, or you're in your living room, or you're in your deck or whatever, and you get to turn on the tube and you get to watch some sports. It's not the way we're used to and accustomed to watching it, but the fact that we actually get an opportunity to sit down and watch some sports is fantastic. It's interesting, real quick. You talk about the Bears. Capper, I know you have to go through the procedure. I know you have to go through the steps and everything, but are we wasting our time on this Mitchell Trubisky, man? I know that's your guy, but are we wasting our time on this kid? I think he's already reached his ceiling, and there's nothing else left for him, brother.
Jerry, I'd like you to do me a favor. When we get done and you get finished with your fine show, I want you to go online. I want you to bring up Drew Brees' numbers. Now, again, I'm not telling you Mitchell Trubisky is going to be Drew Brees. Drew Brees is going to the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. But I would like you to look up Drew Brees' first 4 years when he played in San Diego and was nothing short of wildly up and down and had a passer rating 1 year in the high 60s, another in the 70s, and San Diego went, we're done with this guy. He's nothing. And they traded him, and he got his legs under him, and all of a sudden he got with a coach that helped get the best out of him in Sean Payton, and guess what? Drew Brees became a really good player. So let's let this thing play out. I do not believe Mitchell Trubisky has reached his ceiling. I couldn't more vehemently disagree with you. Let's see how camp plays out. If it's Nick Foles, I'll cheer my you-know-what off for Nick Foles because all I care about is that our Bears win.
Right.
But if it's Mitchell Trubisky, I don't want to hear all the haters in Chicago. What are we doing? He's only playing because Ryan Pace picked him. Look, just let the best guy win the job, stay healthy, and find a way to win some damn football games.
No, you're absolutely right, Captain, and let the best man win the job. And I'm telling you, Nick Foles is the best man for the job. But here, and listen, I'm glad that you brought up the numbers as far as Drew Brees is concerned. And I mean, you and I have been around the block a couple of times, and I remember Drew Brees, his college days playing at Purdue in the Big Ten, and I know his woes that happened when he got into the league to the next level, and we see, what's happened, since that time. But let's bring it to a little bit more up to date, up to speed. The guy that won the Super Bowl, right? The MVP. That guy with Kansas City, right? He just signed that big whopping deal. Amazing deal, right? Patrick Mahomes, right? Right?
Uh-huh.
Here's Cap. I know you're sitting down. And I know it was a stunner when you first heard this guy say this. About maybe 2 or 3 weeks after winning the Super Bowl, which was a phenomenal game, and he led his team back from behind for victory, But here's the scary thing. This guy said on a radio show, Patrick Mahomes, he said, hey, you know what? He said, I didn't really start to understand, and I'm still kind of trying to understand how to read defenses until the 8th or 9th week of this past season. I said, what? I really didn't understand or really start to learn how to read NFL defenses until the 8th or 9th week of this past season that they won the Super Bowl. Our guy, the guy that you love that said, hey, our guy, he still can't, you probably can read NFL defenses better than that guy that we got called Mr. Trubisky. And I love Trubisky, but he's not an NFL quarterback, brother. He's not. And so it's scary that if Patrick Mahomes said he's just learning how far behind is Mitchell Trubisky in learning how to read NFL defenses?
We're going to find out, Jerry. Look, he spent the entire offseason really trying to learn his craft. He's got wonderful athleticism. He's got a good, strong arm. He's got an amazing work ethic, and his teammates love him. I've talked to multiple guys up there, and they've all said, dude, you guys have no idea what a good leader he is in our room. His work ethic, he's there at 5 a.m., and he doesn't leave till 8 p.m., and he eats dinner here and goes home, gets some sleep, gets up, and let's crank it up again. He said, I'm just telling you. And if you heard Ted Ginn said, I signed here, and I think I'm going to be playing with Mitchell Trubisky. And a number of other guys have come out and said, Mitch is a different player. Cordero Patterson the other day. Y'all have no idea what you're talking about. He's a completely different quarterback now. So let's let this play out. Let's see how it works out, and let's not write the epitaph just yet, because everyone thinks that Nick Foles is like Tom Brady at age 25. He's been handed the keys to 3 teams. 3. Philly, St. Louis, and Jacksonville. And how did that work out? All 3 said, yeah, see you later. He's a good relief pitcher.
God bless you, Cap.
Maybe there is some history repeating itself. In San Diego, when he first got there, Breeze was battling with Doug Flutie for the job for a couple of years until they drafted Rivers. So maybe that will happen here, and he'll have a better career somewhere else someday. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Certainly, Cap. We appreciate your time. Real quick, we got to transition, and we got to talk about the other side of sports. As far as there are great stories regarding the players on the field and off the field, but there are also some disappointing stories and some sad stories, not only on the field and off the field, but this past week we've seen it happen and heard it happen in the broadcast booth. Now, you've done several games over your illustrious career. I've done some play-by-play basketball over my career. It's a very demanding job and a very difficult task, but you master your craft and you excel at it. And we're all human, as they say. That's the phrase that is always used when you talk about sports and athletics. But we understand, and most of us understand. All of us should understand when you get behind the mic, or you get in front of that camera, it's showtime, and you put your best foot forward. And what we used to do back at the old shop that I was at, we say, hey, whatever problems you have, whatever woes you have, everyone has them. But what you need to do is leave that at the door when you come to work. No one wants to hear about whatever's going on. We'll listen to you, we'll sit with you, we'll help you, but when you cross that line, when you come through that door, it's time to get to work. Roll up your sleeves and let's get going, buddy. And it's unfortunate this past week, there were three of our brethren in the industry of broadcasting, play-by-play, color commentator, or whatever the case may be, that unfortunately put their foot in their mouths, whether it's Tom Brenneman regarding the statement that he made, whether it's Mark Grace with what he said, and of course the radio announcer for the Charlotte Hornets, what he sent out in a tweet, all in 1 week. What was your thoughts and your reaction when you heard about everything that that happened this past week with those 3 gentlemen?
Well, I'm not going to go into each different one. I'll tell you this, that social media is a great thing for promoting what we do, for trying to have some fun with people, but it's also a wildly dangerous place. And I have tried to preach this to my 4 boys who are age 26 to 30, that if you say something on social media, it will follow you forever. If you think it won't, just go back and do a little research, whether you're Josh Hader or whoever. So social media can be a great thing. It can also be the death of a career. When you walk into a studio and you have a microphone around you, I don't care if the on-air light says not on air. The light may be burned out. You may have an engineer who for some reason doesn't like you, and that engineer says, I'm going to get this guy. And guess what? Whatever you said might end up becoming part of the public record. When you go on Twitter, as you mentioned the Hornets announcer, he could say that it was a mistake in a keyboard, it was an autocorrect, whatever it is. You better triple check what you're saying. And when someone comes at you on Twitter, and this was something I had to learn, but when someone comes at me on Twitter now, I have fun with them. I go right back at them and, hey, man, thanks for listening. Really appreciate you. Find it funny that you hate me so much and you still follow. Take that. And I put a smiley face or whatever it is. I have a good time with it. But there are times that I had typed a tweet and my wife looked and went, you can't send that. You can't go back at them like that. And then I looked and she said to me, that guy has 4 followers. You're letting someone with 4 followers out of his basement get you all triggered? Are you out of your mind? And when she put it that way, it made a lot of sense. So I've been, very good about self-policing.
Yeah.
But when I go into a studio and there's a microphone there, I learned a long time ago, never say anything around a mic, whether it's on or off, that you wouldn't feel comfortable saying into the mic if you knew it was on.
Exactly.
So I love Tom Brenneman. I was at Tom's wedding. Tom's a friend of mine, and he's a really, really good person. He is. But you can't say what he said.
You can't. And that was surprising. I'm not as close to Tom Brenneman as you are. I've certainly met him, of course, when he was working here in the great city of Chicago, doing Cub games, and I've seen him over the years. But I was really, really surprised, to be honest with you, Cap. I was really surprised. This guy is he's a legend. There's no question about it. And he is a veteran, and he's very well experienced as far as what we do at the level that he does it. I was really, really surprised that he put himself in that position, because as you stated, when you're around a mic, you watch what you say.
And his father's a legend too, by the way.
Yeah. But I was really, really shocked and surprised that Tommy Brenneman said whatever he said around a mic, knowing that what you know and what I know, that the chances are this thing could be leaked or it could be open. And unfortunately, whether it's a director or producer or whoever was running the shop there, that mic was open, and he got a countdown, I'd imagine, and he just went on and just continued to go. But I was really shocked and surprised that he even said something like that in the line of work.
Look, Jerry, not only can you not say that, you shouldn't think that. We should be in a more inclusive society. Unfortunately, we're in a really divided place as a society right now. We've got to be better at unity. That's like my big word this year, unity. I don't talk politics on my show. I don't talk about the president, good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is. I like to be inclusive on everybody. Everyone's got a right to live a happy life. And if that means they support that candidate or that lifestyle, God bless them. Just don't infringe on my ability to live my lifestyle. So, again, you've got to be smarter than that when there's a microphone around. But we've got to change the mindset that would have made that word something that someone used freely. And, again, I know Tom is a man. He's a wonderful father. He's been married a long time. He's a good person. he made a horrible mistake.
Yeah, it's a shame, and he is definitely one of the good guys. There's no question about it. Unfortunately, he said something that offended and hurt a lot of people, and he will never ever live that down. And it's just, you're absolutely right, Cap. I think at the end of the day, man, we're all the same, and we need to treat each other as the same, and it's about taking care of yourself and taking care of your fellow brother, your fellow man, your fellow sister, and have the respect for one another. Because at the end of the day, man, we got to face whatever supreme being we look up to or worship or call our God and our Lord and Savior. We got to answer one day, sooner or later. And, you want to be on the right side. There's no question about it. And Cap, man, you are definitely always on the right side. And I wish more people would take the positive attitude and the positive lifestyle that you exemplify and you show every single day, whether you're on the morning show or whether you're doing your evening show, giving Chicago sports. We love you and thank you so very much. And congratulations to you and my buddy Jay Hood on the morning show at ESPN AM 1000. We appreciate you certainly taking time out to join us on this Sunday, brother.
Dude, any time for you. You know I'm a huge fan of yours, Jerry Riles, so keep killing it, and anytime you need me, you know how to get me.
God bless you, man. I love you. You and the family. Take care. And great pictures, man. It was great to see you out there fishing, traveling around the country, man. So keep up the good work on social media. You're much better than I am, man. And I learned a lesson from the great Herm Edwards. He tells his students, he's at Arizona State out there on the West Coast. He said, hey, listen. He tells the young kids, because they're 18, 19, 20 years of age. He goes, hey, listen. I can't control you when you're not around me. He said, this social media thing, I don't know much about it. I know what it does and how it can hurt you and how it can help you. He said, but listen, when you get that, your smartphone device and they got 42 characters, or whatever the case may be, he said, hey, you're going to type something up and you're going to put the characters out there and you want to send it out. He goes, what I want you to do for me, put your smartphone down, walk away from it for about 5 to 10 minutes, then come back and look at what you just typed out. He said, if it still makes sense to you and you think it's okay, he said, then you can send it out. He said, but until you do that, don't do it, because what you think you're sending out is okay, like you said, it stays out there forever. So that's the advice that I use from the great Herm Edwards, man, and it seems like you do the same thing.
Yep, absolutely agree with you. Hey, man, you're the best.
You're the best. Take care, David Kaplan. We love you, brother.
Love you.
He's the man. Ladies and gentlemen, David Kaplan on our TRS60 hotline. Yeah. He's phenomenal.
You know who didn't follow that rule today? Did you see about Bruce Levine? Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. He had apologized for the picture that was sent today. He's with the score on the Marquee Sports Network.
What did he do?
He had some kind of a political picture where he had a photoshopped image of the president and derogatory reference to Biden and Clinton. So he got political. And he had apologized for that.
Yeah, you can't do it. You just can't do it. Whatever the case may be, you can't do it. But what you can do is take a break. Come on right back. It is the fastest hour in sports conversation. It is the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, along with the marvelous one, Dan Marver. Yep. He's chomping at the bit to give you a live read. We'll give it to you on the other side of this break. Ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked in. It is the Rewind Sports 60.
You're watching the Rewind Sports 60. Go Bucks! Woo!
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout. So don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in.
Relax, reset, rejuvenate. Go to our link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.
Rewind Sports 60.
If it's Chicago sports you want, you're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago.
Welcome back to the Rewind Sports 60 live with the best sports panel in Chicago. Lock it in.
My ex-wife, God rest her soul. She's not dead. I just wish God would rest her soul. What the hell was her name again? Oh, yeah, Plaintiff. She used to have these terrible mood swings, and you know what I did one time? I bought her a mood ring. It was kind of interesting. Whenever she was in a good mood, the stone would turn green. When she was in a bad mood, it would leave a big red mark on my forehead. If a doctor ever told me I had 6 months to live, I'd want my ex-wife to come back and be with me, because it'd be the longest 6 months I've had. Have you gone through a divorce? You have to have a sense of humor. I was in court the other day. The judge said to me, I'm going to give your wife $3,000 a month. I said, that's fine, Your Honor, and from time to time, I'll try to give her a few bucks myself.
This portion of the Rewind Sports 60 is sponsored by Serenello's Ristorante Italiano in Wheeling. As part of our ongoing effort to slow the community transmission of COVID-19, Serenello's is now open to provide dine-in service, delivery, and carry-out options too. Come back to us, or let us come to you. Get your favorite dishes delivered in a flash. Curbside menu, carry-out menus, order delivery. Give Serenello's a call today at 847-777-6878. Serenello's is located at 601 North Milwaukee Avenue in Wheeling. Tell Chef Michael Bonner and his team, the Rewind Sports 60, encourage you to support local by dining in or ordering online. Remember to stay safe and perfect social distancing.
I'm still standing. Yeah. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the fastest hour in sports radio. This is the Rewind Sports 60 on WCPT 820 AM in the beautiful, beautiful city of Chicago, in the one of the great towns, one of the great neighborhoods of the beautiful city of Chicago. That, of course, Jefferson Park on the north side. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, along with the marvelous one, Dan Marver. And ladies and gentlemen, the hits just keep coming from one hit to the other. It is the fastest hour in sports conversation. If you miss any portion of it, make sure you check us out on Facebook Live and, of course, our YouTube page. Hey, and on Comcast on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, Channel 17, Channel 19, Channel 35 in the northern suburbs. We're pleased to welcome on our TRS60 hotline. He is also a friend of the program, and my apologies. I was hoping to get to him a lot sooner, but, you know, it's only so much you can cram into this 60-minute bag that we have, but we're pleased to welcome on our TRS60 hotline a friend of the program, longtime Chicago native. He is the legendary comedian, entertainer, Mr. Tom Dreesen. Tommy, how are you?
I'm doing fine. No, you saying this because you saved the best for last? Is that why you put me on at the end here?
No. It's not why we put you on in the end, but you certainly are the best. No question about it. And we are honored, privileged, and pleased to have you join us on the fastest hour in sports conversation, Mr. Dreesen. How's everything going?
Everything is great. How about you guys?
We're hanging in there, man.
I know the Cubs won today, so I'm happy.
Yeah, they won, but
barely.
By the skin of their teeth after what the Southsiders were able to do to them on Friday and Saturday night, including one Jose Abreu. What did you think of his performance? I mean, I think the Cubs pitching staff, Kyle Hendricks and Lester, I think they have to see their chiropractor because of the whiplash, all the homers just flying out of Wrigley Field. What did you think of the performance of Jose Abreu this past weekend?
Why they pitch to him, I'll never know. Why do they pitch to him? Yeah. You know, I keep screaming, walk him. You know,
if Madden was still there, he walked Harper a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Cub fans were wondering the same thing. Why are you pitching to this guy? But you know what? I chalked the White Sox up, this 2020 version of the White Sox, as the modern day Southside hitman, the marvelous one, Dan Marver. He called them murderer's row from the New York Yankees. Yeah. Their bats came alive, and they just went nuts. It was unbelievable. It was like batting practice, Tom.
Well, I tell you what, I'm really disappointed in baseball a lot today because It's not the baseball that I grew up with and love to watch. The moving the runner over, bunting, hit and run, that is gone out of baseball. It's all big ball now. Everybody swings for the fences. And I asked Joe Madden when he was with the Cubs that at a golf tournament of his, and all you guys might have even been there that day. But I asked, "Is it gone from baseball?" And he said, "Yes, it's gone from baseball. The computers and all the other things. It's all big ball now, and they don't care if you strike out 100 times, 150 times a year if you can hit 30 home runs,
Tom, this is Dan in the studio. A lot of things have changed, particularly with the pandemic here. You got universal designated hitter, extra innings with runners starting at second base, and double headers of 7 innings. But much more importantly, I know that Jerry was singing the Elton John song. Do I hear that the book came out in June, Still Standing, My Journey from Streets and Saloons to the Stage and Sinatra?
Yes, it just came out about a month ago, and it's doing really, really good. And I didn't come on this show to push my book, but then I'm lying. I did come on this show. But there's a chapter in there, chapter 41, all about my love of sports and, of course, my love of the Cubs and what it's gotten to me, and some funny things that happened in the years that I was a Cub fan and when I was a bad boy, as a grown man. And so I'm getting a lot of response from Chicago people about that. But the book is really basically about me growing up in Harvey, Illinois, 8 brothers and sisters living in a shack. We had no bathtub, no shower, no hot water, raggedy poor, and I would shine shoes in all the taverns in Harvey and trying to get money to help feed my brothers and sisters. And while I was shining shoes, Frank Sinatra was on the jukebox. That's where I first heard him at 8 years old. And so the book takes you from that 8-year-old boy hearing Sinatra on a jukebox in Harvey, Illinois, to one day carrying his coffin out of a church in Beverly Hills, California. So it takes you on that journey.
You were also you're also way ahead of your time with the Tim and Tom biracial comedy duo. You were the first group like that.
Yeah, we were America's first black and white. That's how we got in the show business. We were America's first black and white comedy team in history shows. We were the last. And, we paid dues that no one had to pay. There were no comedy clubs in those days. So we worked all black clubs in the North and the South, and we worked all white clubs in the North and the South, and just paid dues. But we went everywhere there was racial tension. We would go perform in colleges and high schools. We didn't preach. We just tried to make people laugh. We did 11 prisons in 1 year. We did the county jail in Chicago 3 times in 1 year. We, just anywhere there was racial tension, we went and just tried to make people laugh. And it was an experience that it's in the book too.
Yeah. We could use that. We could use that today.
And you're talking about the great Tim Reed, and some of our listeners who may know him from WKRP in Cincinnati. He was Venus Flytrap, but it was Tim and Tom, and you were the first, black and white comedy team. And you guys are phenomenal. But can you share the story of how you two came about to become this comedy team back during that time?
Yeah, I had no thought of ever being in show business, nor did Tim. When I came out of the service, I went back to Harvey, and I married, got kids, and I ended up joining a civic group called the JCs, and they attacked the problems of the community. So I wrote a drug education program teaching grade school children the ills of drug abuse with humor, a concept I had. They weren't teaching drug education in those days at a college or a high school level, let alone at an elementary school level. And so helping me with the project was this young man, Tim Reed, had just graduated from Norfolk State College, and E.I. DuPont recruited him into Chicago. And so we went into the school system, and we got the kids laughing. We used to play off of one another, getting the kids laughing, and then we'd plant the seeds of the ills of drug abuse. One day, a little 8th grade girl said, "You guys are so funny. You ought to become a comedy team." And the thought of a black-white comedy team intrigued us, so, we started paying the dues. We went out there, and there were no comedy clubs, like I say, in those days, so, we'd go on jazz clubs on the south side of Chicago, and after the jazz group would take a break, Sonny Stitt or Gene Ammons or Eddie Harris or those kind of groups, they'd take a break. We'd get up and do 10, 15 minutes and, and bomb, and then and then get it tight, and then bomb again, and then till we finally got an act going real good,
Tom, and we're on with the great actor, comedian, entertainer, with his book, Still Standing, My Journey from Streets and Saloons to the Stage and Sinatra. He is Tom Dreesen. It's interesting that you talk about, how you got started and the fact that you would bomb, but you would bounce back, and you would bomb, you would bounce back. Today's generation is certainly different from, back when you were a young lad, and of course myself and the Marvelous One. what lessons did you learn over time that you think certainly has kept you relevant in 2020 and that could help the younger generation out there? Because right now it seems as if we look for instant gratification, whether it's through social media or what have you. But as you well know, it's all about the grind, and it's all about honing your skills and mastering your craft. What sort of message do you want to share in the book and convey to the young folks what they need to do to have the longevity and the success that a Tom Dreesen has?
Well, first of all, never underestimate failure. It's a blessing. It's a blessing, failure. And you look at it's all of life is about perception. You look upon it as how you perceive life. And every time I failed, I've learned something from it and stepped back up again. Every time I got knocked down, I got myself back up again. And I wasn't going to let anyone step on my dream. I had a dream that I wanted to become a comedian that was made a living off of making people laugh, and I wasn't going to let anybody get in the way of that. A book by W. Clement Stone once said, if you know what you want to do in life, and if it's a noble endeavor, search your life and see if there's anything in your life that can deter you from that noble achievement, and then get it out. Man, woman, or beast. And one time I thought the only thing that could stop me from becoming a success is drinking, because I love to drink beer with the guys and hang out in the bars till late at night. But I realized that would get in the way of my success, and I got it out of my life. And just never give up. Bertram Russell once said, there are people in show business who become major stars simply because they didn't have sense enough to quit when they should have. And that's my mantra. I should have quit I don't know how many times, but I wouldn't give up my dream. And today all my dreams have come true.
Ned, you know what? You're a great inspiration. There's no question about it. And you've touched so many generations and so many people in your illustrious career. And it is phenomenal. It is phenomenal, Tom Dreesen, that you went from a 8-year-old kid in Harvey, Illinois, shining shoes, to having a fabulous career with the man that we all truly love and certainly miss, and that, of course, in Frank Sinatra. That's a phenomenal story. And, of course, the book, I'm sure, again, still standing. So many folks need to rush out and get it, Tom. Where can they find it if they're ready to chomp at the bit?
Amazon.
Amazon.com. They'll have it to your house in 2 days. Amazon.com. They're real good at that,
They are very good at that. There's no question about it. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation, Tom Dreesen. My apologies. We're going to have you back. We're going to have you back next week. We're going to give you a full half hour to just talk shop with you. And hopefully the Cubs will be back to their old ways of winning and hitting the stick, and Javi Baez will be doing some damage as well. But thank you so very much for taking the time out on this Sunday here in Chicago. The rain, the hail, the sleet, whatever the case may be, it's coming down. But we want to say thank you. God bless you. Good luck with the book. We'll talk more about it next week if you got some time. And we really, really appreciate you.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Jerry. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so very much. Tom Dreesen on our TRS60 hotline, the fastest hour in sports conversation. Anything before we go in 10 seconds?
Yeah, it was amazing. Today would have been Kobe Bryant's 42nd birthday, if you can believe that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
God, think about this 2020, how it started with the tragic loss of Kobe and his young daughter, Gigi, and now what we're living through. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation. Thanks to Dan Marver. Thanks to our producer, Devin Tingle. Lauren Cox is on assignment. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the week. Be safe. Happy birthday to yours truly, Tuesday. And, of course, Comcast, our show, Comcast, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Channel 17, Channel 19, Channel 35. Take care, everybody.
Rewind Sports 60.
reset, rejuvenate. Go to our link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.
Me out to the ball game, Hall of Famer Andre Dawson.
All right. Let's hear it from the greatest fans ever. On three. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back Forest Root. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Hey, let's get some runs. Thank you.
Still there. Oh.